So we are here with 5.1, which is actually a little bit of a preclude to chapter 6. We'll be doing exponential functions today, and you see the line here, if you want to be rich, do this. And so this, along with chapter 6, is going to be serving as a means of helping you to be financially literate and able to make money for doing nothing. So we are going to be solving problems that can be modeled by exponential functions. And thankfully for us, when we are the person who has money and invests it, exponential functions are good. When we are a person who is borrowing money, exponential functions are bad because they cause us to owe more interest. And so we're going to be looking at all of these problems through the lens of the person who has money to invest or loan, not the lens of a person who is borrowing, because we want to avoid borrowing money as much as we possibly can. So, from the Need to Know Schlegel Notes Part 1, exponential functions are super important when we are discussing finances, i.e. money. Most investments behave in a way that can be modeled by an exponential function. If you like money, you like exponential functions. Again, as long as you're not the person borrowing the money. We'll be spending the rest of this course discussing exponential functions in one form or another, as well as how you can use them to help you plan for your financial future, i.e. buy a car, buy a house, invest for retirement, retire with more income than you make while you're working, get rich in general, and leave wealth for your children or grandchildren. Some sort of a legacy is what I'm getting at here, that you would be able to leave your family with, frankly, a huge amount of money and set them up financially for the future. So with that, everyone, I will go ahead and add a video link here in this next piece. There is a video link here in the next piece for Schlegel Notes, and I'll cut this video off after I discuss this piece quickly. Key terms in Chapter 5 that we will be using again in Chapter 6 is this idea of compound interest. And so compound interest, you may have heard it described previously as a snowball that gets bigger as it rolls down the hill. That's not the greatest example, but we will have some pretty good examples as we go through these problems. An investment that earns compound interest is very good for the person who is investing. It is very bad for the person that is borrowing, again. But an investment or loan that is a lump sum, and that's what how compound interest works. It is a lump sum. It is not something you pay into monthly. Compound interest serves as a investment that is just one big pile of money that all went in at the same time. If you make regular monthly payments into it, like I do into my retirement account, it's something called an annuity. We will not talk about annuities until Chapter 6, but for now we are going to focus on compound interest, and the key for compound interest is that it only occurs when you are dealing with a lump sum that was invested one time. And we'll see lots of examples of that as we go through today's work. So compound interest can be compounded yearly, quarterly, semi-annually, monthly, daily, or continuously. The formula for each of those is different, and we'll discuss each of those more in depth in Chapter 6. And compounded basically means that value is added to the account on a recurring basis. And so obviously, if you happen to have an investment that is being compounded yearly, it is only going to grow once a year. If you have a investment that is compounded monthly, it will compound once a month, or its value will increase once a month. And so it's good to have a shorter compounding period, because that means that your money grows more frequently. So compound interest causes an investment or debt to grow faster as time goes on. And so after 30 years, an investment will be growing faster than it was when it was 10 years old. And so this is not going to be a straight line. This is going to be something we call exponential. And this is how rich people stay rich. Frankly, a person that has enough money can invest money into a compound interest fund and do nothing and make enough money just from that investment to live a very happy lifestyle. And for those of us that do not have a tremendous amount of money to be able to do that, it is possible for us to set our family and future generations up to be in that situation, and you'll see that in some of these problems today as well. As I mentioned, this is also how poor people can grow and build wealth for their families over time. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to leave your grandchildren $1 million? We'll explore how you could do that without having a tremendously high paying job through these problems today. So recognize that time is fertilizer for money. There are two ways to make money. One of them is to earn it. The other is to draw it from an investment. The way you draw a lot of money from an investment is you put the time in. Exactly like working, you work, you put the time in, you get paid. But for the investment, you're basically doing nothing, and you're letting time take its course, and you're letting the money grow while you don't touch it. More time means faster growth. And so this is what I mean when I say that you could realistically put something together that would leave your grandchildren $1 million, and it would not break the bank to do that, because it would be a long time before your grandchildren had access to that money. And again, the longer the time is, the faster the fund grows. So I'm going to cut this video off here, everyone. We'll be back to talk more about specific examples here in a moment. I hope that these are all entertaining. We're getting into the part of Math 135 that I really enjoy, and I hope you find it useful for your own personal lives.